Guys and gals, Riku Shiron here again today, and yes, my face isn't on camera. This is because it's 4:41 in the morning. I'm recording this, but I just realized a huge piece of info at the end of this. It took me listening to this audio clip many a times, but we're going to go ahead and give a full rundown of the trailer. I'm going to break down a few of the things that I noticed myself, things that I feel like are in place as well. I know I put the reaction trailer up earlier. I kind of lost my mind over it, but we're gonna get into this. I'm wondering, can I actually? Yeah, I can affect playback speed. So we're gonna kind of go with let's go with point 0.5. I think point 0.5 should be good. So coming into this trailer, you know, we've got Thomas coming down the elevator here, and he's coming out to meet this Chozo. This Chozo is the warrior Chozo that we've seen from Thomas Returns, stuff like that, and it's extremely exciting. I love the look of him. He definitely has a very evil vibe to him. His arm cannon is friggin' amazing. On top of that, um, I just absolutely adore this. Crazy strong. I'm ooh, like seriously, I don't know what to do or what to say. I have some theories about him that I'll go over. Like I think he's actually after the SAX from Samus's suit, which explains why she wouldn't be in it. He's possibly using it to replicate the rest. There's flash shift right here, which is absolutely amazing. In fact, let's kind of go back just a little bit and look at flash shift a little bit more at a slower, even slower speed. Let's go 2.5, and come right back here. So flash shift can be used in the air or on the ground up to 3 times in succession, allowing you to avoid enemies and basically kind of phase in and out. It's good for exploration, combat, stuff like that. It looks amazing. Something else I want to point out right here while we're in this is you notice this is a Chozo Mech. This one kind of has more of like a woody look to it, in my opinion. It's still definitely kind of got like a bronze or wood look to it. It definitely fits the theme of the area, this real lush jungle area. So it's definitely looking like we're getting that same kind of area theme from Fusion, where it separates it out into like aqua, knock, ice, fire, um, desert, and a jungle kind of environment from what I'm seeing here. The animations on this are absolutely amazing. One thing I did notice as well with this, like the first time she uses phase shift when jumping through the air, she kind of like morphed really weird. Of course, here we see him firing this large beam. My theory is that this is like a ramped up version of the Mega beam that we were shown in the previous threads, because look at that explosion. A regular charge shot does not do that. Granted, this could be because of how large that friggin' arm cannon is. Like, that arm cannon is amazing. And his height, his stature, all the things about this Chozo are absolutely and I love it. I really do. It looks amazing. And then we get this glimpse of Kraid here, right? So one thing that I've noticed is this definitely looks like it's going to be taking place in Cataris. You're looking at probably fairly early on into the game, just like with Super. So they're definitely taking a lot of elements from Super and Fusion and mixing them together to make this beautifully cohesive area. And now we're in like the Aqua Zone or area, whichever one you want to call it. I'm going to call it a zone because that's how it feels to me, because this seems like a giant facility. And I love just the detail to the bubbles and everything as Samus is sinking into it. Also, if you didn't notice it, this weird squid whale, we've seen this before in one of the previous Dread trailers. where it's got a floating whale in the jungle area that's just like this. So there's definitely going to be a couple of enemies that are reused the same way that the game, or that they had in other parts of the game, which is to be expected. We've seen that plenty of times in Metroid, no big deal. It also looks like there's some sort of like miniature sunken ship down here too. That doesn't necessarily look space pirate. It definitely, or not space pirate, but Chozo, it definitely has more of a space pirate look. And on top of that, Samus is using the plasma phaser beam or plasma wide beam. She's got several energy tanks. Also, something to note at this point is we still haven't seen anything with the missiles that show that the missiles aren't stacking, that they're separated out. Granted, this could be something that could be just switched by button press. We don't know on that for sure, but it definitely seems like they're stacking like in Fusion, right? Okay. So we see that, and then we're back to this lush jungle biome, swamp biome thing. But then it immediately cuts away to this place. This place I want to point out because it's definitely a bit later in the game, because you see about the same number of E-tanks as in the Aqua Zone. You have 107 missiles, but this place does look like a palace, and on top of that, there are these very interesting, like, almost like house sigils on these banisters, and you'll see these banisters a lot. This statue in the background looks absolutely amazing. It's 3 different warrior Chozo, one with a broken sword, one with a slightly broken sword, and what appears to be one without a broken sword. So you can see that these statues have taken damage over time, been partially destroyed. It definitely looks like some sort of throne room on the bottom level, or at least entranceway to a palace or something. And then you have this weird little creature in the background that's like a weird spider thing. I feel like I've seen it before. I can't place where, but it definitely looks very familiar. And of course, ice missiles there. But then we have this right here, the cross bomb. The cross bomb is interesting because it's supposed to go in 4 different directions: up, down, left, and right. And it explodes not once, not twice, not 3 times, but a total of 4 times over the course of those directions from the very center point, including the center point specifically. Again, this is definitely later on in the game, of course, because we've got a ton of E-tanks up here, as you can see. Good, y'all can actually see this. And of course, here's another demonstration of it doing its thing, but on top of that, we have this block over here. It looks like it could be a screw attack or a shine spark block. And of course, we still have these missile tanks. I'm not sure if they're the missile tanks or the missile plus tanks, which I'm guessing are probably what's going to be used for the storm missiles, the missile plus tanks, or the super missiles. And of course, if you notice, it's the gravity suit morph ball. And then we're back into this fight, and you can see right here, this Chozo warrior seems to be using an ability from Samus Returns, which has me kind of interested, because this looks like the Electro Shield. I can't remember the actual name of it for the life of me right now. My brain's just kind of like on overhaul. See him clashing with combat, of course, Samus is countering, and yeah, cool. It looks like he's just not even deterred, not even flinched, and Samus is kind of surprised by that. We've got the Grapple Beam again, which they went over in the Dread report. It's functioning like normal, but you also have that spin at the end, right there. That it leads me to believe that you'll be able to do that, then use your spin jump afterwards to get an extra jump out of it. And then here, she's using it very similarly to Spider-Man, to use it to latch onto these spider magnet walls, which I feel is super appropriate. And of course, to pull this piece of, building to change the map. And that's what I was talking about earlier with some of my favorite elements of Fusion. I love the fact that in Fusion, the map changed as you went through, somewhat due to you and at the same time due to other things happening in your environment. That's a big detail in Samus Returns that I enjoyed quite a bit, and I love to see that it's been so well and smoothly mingled with like the exploration aspect of Super Metroid to give every part of the fan base something they want. And this scene right here, like I watched it several times. I went through and like watched all of this frame by frame. And one thing I noticed here is that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but then there is what appeared to be a 10th one that rolled off camera. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 9 is here. And then it looks like 10 is rolling in just now on the back. 10's right here. So it looks like there's 10 of what look to be Emmy eyes with a Chozo statue there. This is the Storm missiles, which is definitely a huge nod to Metroid Prime series again, being that they are upgraded Seeker missiles, allowed you to target 5 things at once, but this time it shoots 3 mini missiles at a time, and you'll use it for opening doors, things like that, just that general kind of situation, and taking out multiple enemies or even larger enemies all at once, like this thing. Something else I want to point out about this place is you see these same banners from earlier, but they're war-torn. So there's definitely been some sort of fight between the Chozo or the Chozo and someone else that caused this kind of damage and stuff that we see here, which we've got some hieroglyphics down here that we can't really make out. And of course, Chozo statues here. As we continue going through this, notice we're still in like what seems middle of the game, and this right here is Samus firing a super missile, and all she does is manage to scratch this man with one of the most powerful weapons in most Metroid games, and he's not happy about it. Like, this Chozo is ridiculously strong, and he's using what appears to be speed boost as well, so he's definitely got Aeon abilities and the same kind of upgrades, if not better versions, than Samus has when she gets here, by far. And the big thing with that is that it's not really surprising, but it's crazy to see the tech. One of the big things that I want to point out about this Chozo or Chorizo, I think this is honestly a Chorizo opposed to a normal Chozo warrior. And a lot of that is that its design is pretty much straight out of Metroid Zero Mission, with a spear and the Chozo armor, but it doesn't really look humanoid. And of course, Phaser Beam was not affecting it. We also see the speed booster here, which is absolutely phenomenal. As you can see, those walls that I was talking about in my original video are definitely speed booster walls. We got Shine Spark back, which looks phenomenal with the flames and everything. And then we have the gravity suit. This area, you know, looks like Kamino's straight up. Like, that was my first impression, is this is similar to Kamino. It's somewhere on the outside of the planet, far away from Samus's actual ship. And see the screw attack as well, but then you see these lightning bolts, and on these lightning bolts you see these 2 Chozo ships back here. They seem fairly low resolution. It's probably just because I paused the video, but they definitely look like some sort of warships, made specifically for like ship to ship battle, air to air, space to space. You also notice there's this emblem up here, a ton of energy tanks and almost 200 missiles. So this has to be late game, if not, and if it's not, you like, it's got to be serious, serious, serious number of E-tanks you can collect throughout the game. But I'm thinking these are power bombs, and we can definitely tell it's on the surface, but just to, in case anyone had any doubts about it, if you look at the map up here, the map doesn't have any sort of ceiling to it, or physical ceiling to it. Definitely showing that in most other Metroid games, you're on the surface, there's no ceiling to it at all. And just the way that area looks is beautiful. On top of that, I am completely convinced that these are teleporters. Look almost exactly like the Samus Returns ones, but more technologically advanced or more sci-fi. They still have the same kind of like light in the background, but I think this will tell you where it will take you opposed to being direct from one place to another. But this will be like, you got to match these, figure out where you're going to go, which I think is a better way to do it overall, even though it can be a little bit more frustrating. We see her breaking some blocks with the screw attack, but no way to really confirm my earlier theory. Now, these things are impressive too, because these are those same kind of Chozo mechs we saw earlier, but they definitely look more upgraded or well equipped. Because this one has like a Tonfa that has a jet engine to it, and then this one down here is using screw attack. So like, as you see, it literally just launches across. Use this Tonfa to like just boost into Samus and go to nail her. But the phase shift definitely, as you watch it, allows Samus to just move right out of the way, shift out of it. So there are some iframes on phase shift for sure, that allow you to get out of the way of certain attacks. This down here, I can't tell if it's supposed to be a fish, a Metroid, the Chozo Mech heads, what's going on with that, but these definitely seem pretty interesting to me here. And then there's another one here that looks more Metroid-ish overall, and of course there are locked doors, so these are probably going to be similar to like the golden space pirates that you'd run into in Super and in Fusion, that wouldn't allow you to progress out of or through an area until you defeated them, which I'm not opposed to at all. And then we go back to him again, and he's just so powerful. Like, this Chozo is crazy powerful. But the thing that gets me with that, we'll have to return back to, because of course we get another view of Kraid. It definitely looks like the Kraid that was from Super. You can see he has like all these wounds and battle scars on him, but you also can see here at the beginning of this little section, when Samus is on her way up, that one of his belly button holes that shoot claws is infected in some sort of way. So it looks more so, instead of him just being restrained, he's being tortured here on this planet, which would explain him being extra angry. Of course, you know, Samus isn't going to shut down from it, but most likely Samus is going to put him clear out of his misery. Here we get a better look at the gravity suit. I do not think this is going to be the final suit of the game by any means. Mainly because the shoulder pads definitely look like they're still regrowing. You still have muscle tissue there, and here that are showing throughout her suit. So I feel like we're going to have at least one more upgrade. But the other big thing about this particular scene that has to do with these is this far right creature looks like a more upgraded version of this, to be completely honest, just based off of what little bit we can see. But this right here reminds me of the Dark Aether Metroids from Prime 2, having this weird like ridge line to it in multiple spots with the reddish and black gray section here, but it also looks like it has something connected from it here that similar to like a hunter Metroid. Tendrils coming out the bottom. And ooh, something else I just noticed about that scene is it looks like this creature broke out of some of the glass somewhere. So it's almost guaranteed these weird Mod Podge creatures that we're running into are straight up being biologically engineered. And I'm wanting to say that this also will have something to do with the Chozo Warrior, but not for the reasons most would think, that he's actually controlling action. And I'll explain a little bit more of that here in a moment. We also see this weird like symbiote Chozo creature, which is what I'm expecting is done with like the SAX end of the suit, if that is still a thing in this game. And notice this is about the same time we saw the gravity suit earlier. This creature is also wielding a spear and Chozo armor. Thomas is in the gravity suit. On top of that, the 3 orbs here changed from the red to this bright gold now, and I definitely like the way it's looking. But this thing also, when it kinda has its head closed, definitely resembles a Chozo in the face. So what I'm thinking, this is like an X combination of X and Chozo DNA just straight out. That's been biologically engineered to run this mech suit to try and take down Samus. And as you can still see yet again, tons of the suit is not done and regrowing. Will it be fully regrown at any point? I have no clue. But I'm definitely expecting one more power up. And on top of that, her arm cannon is using Wave Beam here. It has the Wave Beam coloring, which is very interesting, to say the least. And then we go back to this scene here with the charging blast. And Samus is sitting here, and I feel like they didn't get rid of all of the X, but what I heard, it took me many a times of listening to this little section here where he's speaking sounds to me like he is specifically asking Samus to kill him, which is dark for all intents and purposes. And then of course we kind of get this flash where this power activates, and if you notice, like, Samus's pupils are still kind of there when it does activate, but they disappear fully to that one solid color for just a second. And it's just left with shading over the eyes, very similar to how the SAX was. So and then that pretty well gives us the end of the video. But let's go back real quickly and take another listen to this clip here at full play and full playback speed, and full volume. I'll even bring up the volume a bit on my desktop audio as well. I just have to probably don't want to go that high. And we'll go back one more time and play it just a little bit slower, because to me, it doesn't sound quite the same at a slower rate, and I definitely recommend having good headphones on for hearing this, but I'm 100% sure he's asking Samus to kill him here. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, I've listened to it and listened to it and listened to it, and this is just absolute crazy. Um, when I noticed it, I kind of freaked out. There's one other piece of information I need to go over with y'all for the um, sake of the Dread reports. I've got to see if I can find it real quickly. So I've got to let it translate real fast, but we're gonna scroll down here, um, down to the speed booster part. The speed booster part, I really wish I could slow this down because I noticed it, and I haven't found a way to really get the video for it. But when where is the when you watch this, there's a specific spot where Samus jumps and she connects with her legs on the wall, and she does her wall mounting, uh, or her mantling right there. She mantled while speed boosting and then wall jumped, which is absolutely crazy. We'll watch it one more time. It's super awesome. Like, this really means a lot of big things. They also said that, you'd be able to use Speed Booster with Slide as well. So this game is going to be phenomenal. Going to be crazy. I'm expecting huge things. If there's anything you noticed in the Dread video that I didn't, definitely like, comment, let me know. I want to hear your theories on everything. And before we do go, I'm going to explain this theory I have right now after seeing this. Is what I'm thinking is uh, the big warrior Chozo is actually being controlled by the scientist Chozo, who's been experimenting on all these different life forms that he's been collecting after having basically taken control of the warrior Chozo, whether it be through X Parasite or manipulating their power suit, whatever. Because scientists could definitely do this if they were smart and about how they used everything and did everything. Um, and the whole goal of taking like some of the X from Thomas's Varia suit or Omega suit that should technically be considered when coming in and causing her ability amnesia was to produce these Chozo X Parasite hybrid uh, machine warriors to some degree. I don't know if they'll be machine warriors, but definitely like Chozo hybrid X warriors to help take over the universe or reinstate their population, and that the warrior Chozo is actually not in control of their own actions during this. Um, it seems like it's a really odd and far-fetched idea, especially considering Samus still has the Metroid DNA in her, but it doesn't mean suit can't have X still bonded to it, which would explain it regrowing its mechanical parts. And outside of that, really it's just a fan theory at this point. I'd love to hear any theories that y'all have. Let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe. I'm going to keep putting out content for Metroid Dread. I just want to do more Metroid content in general. I really do love the series, and I may not always be directly on with everything, but I know that as a community, Metroid is amazing. Y'all are absolutely wonderful. I can't thank y'all enough for the 400 plus likes at the time of uh, recording this on my reaction video from yesterday that I recorded right before I went to work. And I really do appreciate every one of you out there in the Metroid community and fandom. Feel free to follow me on Twitch at Riku Shiron, on Twitch at twitch.tv/Riku Shiron. And yeah, I just can't thank y'all enough. Y'all are wonderful, and I want to hear more from y'all. I want to see if there's anything I might have missed. And also, the fusion ship is amazing. All right, much love, peace out, and I will see you next mission.